The rain had been falling for hours, turning sidewalks into silver rivers and dimming the city into a blur of headlights and fog. Somewhere beneath a flickering street lamp, Vivian Carter hurried across the crosswalk with her son, Mateo, clinging tightly to her arm. The storm came without warning, but she knew better than to trust the sky. Life had taught her storms rarely announce themselves. Vivian wasn't just running from the rain. She was running from her past, a past she prayed would never catch up to her. Family woman boy Vivian and Mateo, a fragile life. Mateo was 5, with big eyes that absorbed the world too quietly. He rarely spoke, preferring gestures and nods, and Vivian had long accepted that he communicated in softer ways. He was her entire world, the only thing that kept her from drowning on days when her past whispered threats. Still, hiding wasn't easy. Not when her abusive ex, Alexander, knew how to track people. Not when his shadow had lingered in every city she tried to call home. Vivian thought she had outrun him this time, until she hadn't. One sighting, one warning call, one message slipped under her door. It was enough. Now she and Mateo were packing again, putting everything they owned into a single backpack and heading toward the only place she believed offered a small chance of safety, the home of Emilio and Carolina Reyes, her late mother's employers, the closest thing to family she had left. House the Reyes mansion. The Reyes estate was known across the city, massive, quiet, surrounded by black steel gates and manicured gardens. Anyone passing would assume the people inside were untouchable. And perhaps, in many ways, they were. Carolina Reyes, elegant even in her late 70s, was still sharp enough to lecture 3 doctors at once. Emilio, kind and soft-spoken, often wanted the property humming songs from his youth. They were wealthy but lonely. Their only son, Darius Reyes, was an enigma, a man with a reputation sharper than the jawline he inherited from his mother. Cold, calculating, feared by most, respected by all. Even Vivian, who barely knew him, felt goosebumps whenever his name was mentioned. He didn't tolerate chaos. He didn't tolerate weakness. He didn't tolerate strangers. Unfortunately, Vivian was all 3. Cloud with rain, the arrival. Vivian rang the bell with trembling hands. Her hair was soaked, her clothes heavy with rain, and Mateo shivered beside her. Carolina opened the door herself. "Oh, child," she breathed, pressing a hand to her heart. "Come inside." Quickly, warmth enveloped him immediately. Fresh bread, lavender, and the scent of burning cherry wood. Emilio rushed forward, grabbing towels with surprising speed for a man his age. "Get her something dry to wear," he told his wife. "And the boy, too, he'll catch pneumonia." Mateo blinked up at them shyly. Vivian felt her throat tighten with gratitude she didn't know how to express. Bust in silhouette the man she didn't want to see. Footsteps echoed from the staircase. Slow, measured, heavy. Darius Reyes appeared at the top, hair damp from his shower, a black shirt clinging faintly to the hard lines of his chest. His expression, as always, unreadable. He paused when he saw them. "What is this?" he asked quietly. Not angry, not surprised, just cold. Vivian bowed her head. I'm sorry. I had nowhere else to go. I'll leave again as soon as the storm ends." "You'll do no such thing," Carolina snapped before he could answer. "She's staying here where it's safe." Vivian swallowed hard. She hadn't meant to inconvenience him. Darius moved down the stairs slowly, eyes flicking between her and Mateo. Mateo hid behind her leg. Carolina lifted her chin. "Don't start, Darius." He didn't. He simply walked past them. But Vivian saw his jaw tighten, saw the way he studied the boy with an unreadable tension. As if Mateo triggered something in him he wasn't ready to face. Fork and knife with plate, dinner that revealed too much. Later, Carolina insisted Vivian join them at the dinner table. Mateo was given warm milk and a soft blanket, which he held on to like a lifeline. Vivian tried not to talk too much, but Carolina asked questions. Emilio offered comfort, and Darius watched, silently, unblinking, every muscle carved in granite. "What are you running from?" Carolina finally asked softly. Vivian's fork froze midair. The truth slipped out before she could swallow it back. "My son's father." Emilio's hand stopped halfway to his glass. Carolina's face darkened with fury. Only Darius didn't react. He just looked at her. A long, heavy stare. "What did he do?" he asked quietly. Vivian hesitated. Then, everything. Darius leaned back slowly, fingers tapping the table. "So he's a threat?" "Yes. And you brought that danger into my house." Her heart dropped. "I mean—" "You should have told us sooner," he said, voice low, sharp, but not cruel, "so we can protect you properly." Vivian froze. That wasn't the reaction she expected. He wasn't angry at her. He was angry at the situation, at the man who hurt her, at the threat endangering a child. Carolina looked between them, something hopeful flickering in her old eyes. Fog, a storm outside and inside. As night deepened, the storm outside grew violent. Windows rattled. Thunder rolled through the estate like a warning. Vivian lay awake in the guest room, Mateo tucked safely beside her. She stroked his hair until his breathing steadied. Just as she began drifting into uneasy sleep, a faint knock interrupted her. She opened the door slowly. Darius stood there in the dim hallway, a shadow in black. His voice was low. "There's something you need to know," he said. Her stomach twisted. "What is it?" He held up a phone. "Your ex," he said. "Alexander. He's already in the city." Vivian felt her blood turn to ice. "He's looking for you." Her world collapsed in a single heartbeat. Vivian gripped the edge of the door. Her breath caught halfway between a gasp and a cry. For a moment, she couldn't speak, couldn't even blink. The hallway light flickered softly above them, but all she could hear was her pulse pounding in her ears. "How do you know?" she whispered. Darius tilted his phone so she could see the screen. A security photo, time-stamped just 30 minutes earlier. Capture a man in a black coat near the gates of the Reyes estate. His posture was unmistakable. So was the predatory intent in his eyes. Vivian's knees buckled. Darius reached out instinctively, steadying her with a firm hand. "Easy," he murmured. "You're safe inside this house." Safe. A word she hadn't believed in years. "Why is he here?" she whispered. "Because he thinks he owns what he lost," Darius said, voice deep and ice-cold. "Men like him don't let go. They hunt." Vivian trembled. "But he won't touch you," he continued. "Not here. Not while I'm alive." The certainty in his tone was unlike anything she'd ever heard. He wasn't promising protection. He was warning fate itself not to try him. Shield security titans. Within minutes, Darius had set the entire estate into silent lockdown. Guards positioned at every entry point. Motion sensors activated. Cameras updated. Vehicles checked. Vivian watched all of it from the window of the guest room. Mateo was still asleep behind her, unaware of how close danger had come. Darius stood beside her, speaking into a headset, issuing calm, lethal instructions. "Search the perimeter. I want his last location. Nobody steps in or out." Vivian swallowed. "You didn't have to do all this for us." He turned toward her, expression unreadable. "I'm not doing this for you," he said. Her heart sank. Then he added quietly, "I'm doing it for Mateo." Vivian's breath hitched. "I saw how he flinched earlier," Darius said. "The way he clung to you. That's not fear of strangers. That's trauma." She stared at him, surprised he had noticed so much. But of course he had. Cold men often saw the things others overlooked. "It's my responsibility to protect children on my property," he finished. It wasn't the whole truth. She felt it. He knew it, but neither of them said more. Crescent moon, a sleepless night. Vivian lay awake for hours, listening to storm outside and the faint echoes of guards patrolling the grounds. Every time the wind roared, she imagined Alexander's silhouette in the shadows. Every time thunder cracked, she remembered his voice, his threats, his fists, his rage. She turned and watched Mateo sleep, curled like a small, peaceful cloud. She brushed his cheek, fighting the fear clawing at her chest. Then, a creak outside the window. Her breath froze. Vivian eased out of bed and peeked through the curtains, a dark figure near the trees. Still, watching. Before terror fully gripped her, A hand closed gently around hers. She gasped, but it was Darius. He had appeared silently at her doorway, his expression carved in stone. "It's one of my guards," he said softly. "Not him." Her body sagged with relief she was almost ashamed of. Darius didn't release her hand immediately, and she didn't pull away. Some behind Small Cloud, morning comes with truth. By dawn, the storm had calmed. Vivian went downstairs to find Carolina making tea and Emilio humming softly while reading the newspaper. "You look tired, dear," Carolina said gently. "We heard everything," Emilio added with concern. "That man, he's dangerous." Vivian nodded, unable to hide the trembling in her fingers. Carolina placed a warm hand over hers. "You're not alone anymore," she said. "This house is yours, as long as you need it." Vivian swallowed back tears. Just then Darius entered the room, hair damp, shirt tucked neatly, expression unreadable as always. "We found his recent trail," he said, "but he's gone. For now." Vivian's heart stuttered. For now was never enough. Darius studied her face quietly. Then he spoke again. "I'm moving you and Mateo to the East Wing." She blinked. "WI, isn't this already safe?" "It's safer," he corrected. "Only family stays there. But I'm not. You are now." The words hit her harder than the storm. Teddy Bear Mateo changes everything. Later that morning, Vivian found Mateo sitting on the carpet in the living room, lining up the small wooden animal figures Emilio had given him. Darius walked in quietly. He didn't expect Mateo to look up, but he did. Mateo didn't speak, but he picked up a tiny wooden wolf and placed it in Darius's hand before returning to his toys. Darius stared at the toy, unmoving. Carolina, watching from the kitchen doorway, covered her mouth. Vivian didn't understand why everyone suddenly froze. "It's the first time he's ever approached someone on his own," Carolina whispered. "Ever." Vivian's heart tightened. Mateo trusted no one easily. Trauma had shaped him, silencing his voice long before he ever learned to speak. But somehow he had chosen Darius, the coldest man in the room, the one who never let anyone close. And Darius didn't seem to know how to process it. He crouched down slowly, placing the wooden wolf beside the tiny wooden bear Mateo held. A silent gesture, a quiet bond, something shifting, something new, something dangerous. Fire of the Past isn't done yet. Just as the house settled into a rare moment of peace, one of Darius's guards rushed inside. "Sir," he said breathlessly, "we found something at the north fence." Darius's eyes hardened. "What?" The guard held up a small, wet envelope with Vivian's name on it. Her blood turned to ice. Inside was a single sheet of paper, a message written in thick, angry strokes. "If you don't come back, I'll take what's mine." Vivian dropped the paper. Her knees shook. Carolina caught her. Emilio whispered her name. Mateo looked up, eyes wide with fear. And Darius. Darius stepped forward, picked up the note, crushed it in his fist, and spoke in a voice so lethal the room fell silent. "He thinks he can threaten what's under my protection." He looked at Vivian, and for the first time, his mask cracked, rage simmering beneath the surface. "He has no idea," he said, "what war he just started.